Hello, this is Allie with the Perception Trainers, author of The Perception Diet, and today we're going to talk more about judgment. We're going to have a deeper look at judgment and take this concept of what we should do and what we can do with judgment in order to turn it into something productive deeper, okay? So a while ago I made a video called Why Judgment is the Worst Problem Solver Ever. And essentially in that video, all we really covered was how stepping into a state of judgment is essentially stepping into a state where we are rejecting information. We're cutting ourselves off from information and we're saying, this is just wrong, this should not be happening, or this thing that isn't happening should be happening, and that's incorrect. Reality is wrong. People are wrong, people are bad, all of these things. And what we're doing when we do that, okay, is we are cutting ourselves off from understanding why such and such that we're judging is causing pain, because that's why we're judging it. Okay, so this is a little bit of a deeper understanding, right? We judge what causes pain. We judge what causes us pain. We judge what causes others pain. We judge it as being wrong, as though it shouldn't exist. And in that, we block ourselves from understanding why it's occurring, and therefore how to come more into alignment with pleasure, which is that which is life generating. Okay, so when we judge, we're essentially saying there's no cause to this. There's no reason for this. This just shouldn't be happening. There's no cause. That's what we mean when we say this shouldn't be happening. Okay, let's get very clear on this. When we say this should not be happening, what we're saying is reality fucked up, right? The cause that was the result that was supposed to come from whatever it is that I've done or whatever it is that someone else has done didn't come, right? Reality got it wrong. Or the result that was supposed to come didn't come, or the result that did come wasn't the one that I thought it was supposed to be, and therefore there's no rhyme or reason for this. Okay, so as we start to understand this, yes, that judgment is simply saying there's no cause. That thing happened for no reason. There was no law behind it. There's nothing underlying. There's no system underlying. It's just wrong what happened. Yes, we can start to see that with that thinking, we lock ourselves into whatever we're experiencing, because if we cannot understand the system of why something is occurring, yes, if we don't understand the root of why something is happening or something that we want to happen isn't happening, we can't change the circumstances. And now the deeper understanding is, again, the reason we want to change circumstances is because we're in pain. And the reason we're in pain is because we have some value system, some belief system, some action that we're doing, right? The value leaves the beliefs, and your values lead to your actions, which lead to the outcome, the reality reflecting back to you what you've just done. It's either life-generating or life-degrading. When we're in pain, we're life-degrading. When we're in true pleasure, remembering what true pleasure is, that which has no negative consequence. True pleasure has no negative consequence. So if you think that drinking alcohol is pleasure, it is not, because there's a negative consequence. If you think that binging on food is true pleasure, it is not, because it has a negative consequence. If you think that reading a really lovely book that inspires you is true pleasure, you're correct, because it has no negative consequence, okay? So when we understand this, yes, that life speaks in two languages, pain and pleasure. Pain lets us know where we're degrading. Pleasure lets us know where we're living, expanding, growing. When we come into judgment, yes, we have to understand that what we're doing is we're cutting ourselves off from seeing the system at play. We're cutting ourselves off from understanding why this thing that we're judging causes pain and how to not do that anymore so that we can be in pleasure. All right? So this is why we need to understand now how we want to react to ourselves when we're judging is not to just judge ourselves for judging. Nor do we want to just brush off the judgment as I shouldn't be judging. You see? So we don't want to do either of these two black and white things. Most people, when they're judging, they just assume, well, that thing is just wrong and stupid and it shouldn't be happening and I hate them or whatever. And we're just in this judgment spiral. Okay? The other side of the coin, the spiritual bypassing side of the coin, is, oh my goodness, I shouldn't be judging. Judging is wrong and bad. Judging is not spiritual. Judging is a low vibration. Stop judging. It's fine. It's fine. Just see them in their light. Everything's great. Okay? Neither of these two things are the answer, because both of them are cutting us off from information. Yes? What we really need to be doing when we're in a state of judgment is this. When we're mature beings, this is how we handle judgment. We go into a state of judgment. That's wrong. That person is stupid. I hate that. That's blah, blah, blah. Okay. First thing we do. We go inside and we see that part of us that's judging. The part of us that hates what we're seeing. That's judging this other person. That's judging this system. That's judging this thing. That's judging ourselves. Whatever it is that we're judging. And we say, okay, thank you, judgment, for being here. Thank you, judgment, for showing up. I make room for you, right? I'm not going to inflate you and let you just go crazy out of control, nor am I going to try and get rid of you because you're wrong and bad. I'm going to recognize that you are a part of reality just like everything else, and therefore you should be happening. Okay, so already we're now releasing resistance to our own judgment. Because even when we go the way of whatever, I'm just going to judge everything, blah, 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 that's still a resistance, right? That's still creating resistance to what you're seeing. You're rejecting and resisting the thing you're judging versus rejecting and resisting the one who's judging. So when we go into this state of accepting the judgment, we reduce our resistance to both what we're judging and the person who's judging, and therefore we can automatically get more information. Yes? Releasing of resistance equals more information. So we acknowledge the judgment as being something that's helpful. And this is what helps it to deflate. Okay? This is how I'm gonna challenge you on this, okay? If you're afraid that accepting your judgment, accepting that you're judging, is gonna make you an even more judgmental person who's just crazy and out of control with your judgment, I challenge you to try this. It's going to take all the fire out of your judgment when you center yourself on, I accept you. You're allowed to be here. It's not going to fuel this crazy puke of judgment thing in you. I promise you. Okay? It's because that comes from rejection. Okay? So what you're going to do is you're going to love it. You're going to love your judgment. You're going to make room for your judgment. Second thing is you're going to allow yourself to feel what you feel. So like, okay, so this judgment, what's really under it? Well, I'm feeling angry, I'm feeling uncomfortable, I'm feeling sad, I'm feeling I don't like this, I don't like that, I don't like this, I don't like that. Okay, again, accept that, right? This pain is showing me that there's somewhere in me where I'm out of alignment with life. I'm judging someone's parenting, I'm judging someone's eating, I'm judging someone's homophobia or blah, 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 blah. Why? Where is the pain in me that's showing me where there's still a rejection of reality? There's still a life-degenerating path that I'm participating in that's causing me this pain when I'm confronted with it in the external world. Now, don't rush to saying, does this mean we never do anything about anyone and we just accept rapists and blah, blah, blah? Don't jump there, okay? Back up, back up. Don't run to that place yet. We're going to get to there in a second. But what we're going to see is that in ourselves, there are places where we are rejecting reality. We are hurting our own self. We are living in alignment with values that we don't know we're living in alignment with. Because instead of allowing ourselves to feel the anger and to feel the sadness and to feel all these emotions and then to show us where we're living in a way, because this is what's going to happen, right? We accept the judgment, and then that's going to lead to showing you other emotions. And then you start to accept those emotions. Okay, I make room for my anger. I can make room for my sadness. I make room for all of these things. And again, this doesn't mean I puke it all over everything. It's I'm making room for it internally. I'm making room for it internally as an understanding that these things are messengers. These are not the problem. My anger is not the problem. My sadness is not the problem. My judgment is not the problem. They're messengers of a problem. Right? They're messengers of where I'm living in a way that's out of alignment with life generation. Okay? So where I'm causing harm to myself or to others that I'm not seeing. So we spend time with the anger. We spend time with the sadness and we say, thank you for being here. You're showing me where there's something out of alignment and I want to understand you. Where am I out of alignment? Right? I'm angry because there's something out of alignment. I'm sad because there's something out of alignment. And so we start to make room for that. Yes? And you're going to start to see, okay, well, the way that I'm judging this person, I'm also causing harm the way that they are. Or they're reflecting back to me a place where I was hurt and there was harm caused to me that I haven't loved myself yet. So a lot of the times the things we judge are the things that we feel we are victim to. Okay, so this is going to be a huge thing. And then I want you to go back and watch the forgiveness video that I made just before this one on why rushing to forgiveness is spiritual bypassing. Okay, you're going to see that that hurt and that anger and that frustration, that the reason you're judging it is because there's still a part of you that is feeling victimized by that way of being. Yes? And what we start to do with that is we start to take our power back. So where am I giving my power away? To the culture, to the people, to the person or the thing that I'm judging, to the ideology that I'm judging. Where am I saying that as much as I'm fighting for my sexual rights or my identity rights or my women's rights or my any of these rights, as much as I'm fighting for it, am I fighting against what I think is wrong in the system, or am I giving myself permission to be the new thing? So this is where judgment and truly being with your emotions is going to mature you, okay? It's going to take you out of being that angry activist or the victimized, oh my God, this world is so hard and they're victimizing me and right? Into where you actually have power, which is this. When you understand the system at play to the thing that you're judging, through accepting your judgment and accepting your emotions about it, you're going to start to see the whole system. You're going to see how the system is working. You're going to see how you're still playing into being a victim to the system. And a lot of the time, when we're protesting things and we're fighting against stuff and we're just working so hard to get rid of something, you're going to see that you're not being the new way. You're not actually living in alignment with life generation within yourself. You're not being what you want everyone else to be. You're just fighting against what everyone else is. And that's not it either. So we're going to start to take our power back. And we're going to say, okay, I'm not going to fight against what is. Because that is not life generating either. Because again, what is life generating is learning, growing, changing, evolving, expanding. It's becoming something new. It is not tearing something else down. When we truly understand how reality works, we're going to see that everything that we're judging is simply something that needs to be evolved. It's not something that needs to be eradicated. Because when you start to see the actual system that's going on in any of the things that you judge, it's not that the whole thing is wrong. It's that it's a piece of truth being conflated as the whole truth. So we need to see what's the benefit in the thing that I'm judging. Right? When you really understand something, you're going to see, okay, I see where that thing was coming from and what needs to be evolved from that. How can I start to be the new way? Not fighting against what is, evolving what is to be the new thing. This is where we are actually adults with our judgment. We look at what we're judging and we accept that. We accept the emotions that are coming up from that. We're seeing where we're victimizing ourselves to a system. We start to see what that system is and where that system needs to be evolved and how we need to live in alignment with that new evolution. We're no longer waiting for the external world to live in alignment with that evolution because we're not victimizing ourselves to it anymore. We're living in the new way. So now when someone comes and talks down to you about your sexuality or your sexual orientation or your gender at all or your job or whatever, and someone's like authoritating over you, you don't need to fight with them. You hold your ground. I know who I am. I don't accept this judgment of me. I'm fine to live in this new peaceful world where we're all accepted. And I accept myself. And you're going to start to notice part of the reason you're so judgy of people who reject people is because you still allow that rejection to be a reason why you reject yourself. You're not living in the new way yet where you love yourself no matter what. You're still sort of waiting for the whole world to get on board with what you're doing before you fully give yourself permission to just be it. That's part of this. And this is a huge part of this. When we're judging, it's because we haven't fully gotten ourselves to the life-generating path yet. We haven't become the new way of the thing we're judging. So we need to say, what is it about this thing that I'm judging? Whatever it is about this system that's good, I take that. Whatever it is about the system that I'm seeing as broken is what needs to be evolved in me. I need to be the next evolution of this thing. Whatever I'm judging, I need to be the next evolution of this thing. This is how we handle judgment as adults. So let's go over this again. We judge. The first thing we do is make room for that judgment because it's telling us something. It's showing us where there is something out of alignment with life in ourselves, where we're not yet lining up with the new way of life. We're seeing it because it is a reflection of us, but it's not necessarily this direct reflection, right? It's not like when you are seeing someone who's homophobic, it means you're homophobic because you're judging them. No, but it could be, right, that if you really go into this, you're still living in a homophobic way in the sense of you're defending yourself against homophobia instead of just saying, in the real place, the life-generating place where homophobia doesn't exist, you don't need to defend yourself against it. You don't defend yourself. You just stand in your power. There's nothing to defend. Can you see the difference there? There's a huge difference between I'm going to fight against the homophobic person and literally I completely disengage from that. I completely don't live in that world. I'm not even going to defend myself against you because there's nothing to defend. This is how I am. This is who I am. There's nothing to defend. This is right. I don't need to defend myself. You see what I'm saying here? When we're fighting to get rid of the thing, we're not being the new thing. Because the thing you actually want, right? When we're judging homophobia, for example, what we actually want is a world in which there is no fight against homophobia because homophobia doesn't exist. There's no need to be in that defensiveness because there isn't that judgment. And in order for us to create that, the people who are onto this, right, it's not going to be the people who are judging that are going to change. We have to stop waiting for the world to change. You stop waiting on the world to catch up to the alignment of the value systems you know you want. You start to say, no, where am I still living in alignment with their value system? Every time you defend yourself, you're living in alignment with their value system. You're agreeing with them that there's something that needs to be defended. That's not life generating. When you step over and you say, there's nothing that needs to be defended here. I'm not going to defend myself. That's a waste of fucking time. There's nothing to defend. I know who I am. I love myself. You do whatever you want to do. But I'm not going to fight with you because that's giving power to the thing that you believe. I'm not going to give my power to the thing that you believe. This is where we go, right? So we see the judgment. We see that we honor that that's something that's out of alignment with us. We look at the emotions that are underneath it. We realize, okay, these emotions are showing me where I'm doing something to myself that is non-life generating. So I spend time with my emotions. I figure out where I'm living in alignment with something that's non-life generating. So when I think that I'm defending myself and I'm protesting, blah, blah, that's not life generating because that's not living in the way that you want to be. You're fighting for something, but you're not creating it. You create it by being it. So how can I be? What do I actually want? What's the real thing that I want to have happen here? And how do I live like that is a reality? How do I live in alignment with that? Right? We take responsibility. And then we're going to see that the judgment goes away. You don't have to defend yourself anymore. You're not angry with what other people are doing because you're living in the truth. You live in the truth. And you won't need to judge anymore. Okay? But that judgment is showing you where you're out of alignment with truth. So, where am I out of alignment with truth? I accept the judgment as a thing, and then we live as it is. We create that world by being it. And then we don't need to judge anymore. We fix the system by literally making the new system. Not fighting the old system, being the new system. Okay? Questions, comments, concerns, leave them down below. Like,